Mail-in ballots. An all-around bad idea. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now in this video I want to talk about mail-in ballots and why I think mass mail-in ballots is such a terrible idea. Now before I get into it, please like and share this video to give it a boost. So first off, what are mail-in ballots? Well, a mail-in ballot is when election ballots are sent out through the mail to every registered voter, and people put down who they want to vote for in those ballots and mail them back. Trump has made a very strong case, I think, for showing that mail-in ballots aren't a good idea, and especially how they're open to fraud. He's kind of right. Mail-in ballots are open to various kinds of fraud, including ballot harvesting, voters voting twice, the unreliable postal service, and poor voter registration records. Now, the Democrats have dismissed any concerns with the potential of fraud with the mail-in ballot system and are pushing for the 2020 election to be done almost completely through them due to the coronavirus. Now, things are going to changing on that because their opinion is starting to kind of turn around a bit, but still they're mostly supporting the system. One argument that the Democrats love to make is that mail-in ballots, they're just like absentee ballots. Well, this is a poor comparison, because there are some key differences. Absentee ballots are requested by voters. They have to fill out a form and send it off to the local election office to request an absentee ballot, which is a ballot sent through the mail, but the voter has to request them. Mail-in ballots are sent out to everyone on the voter register. Now, absentee ballots have some ID verification that mail-in ballots do not. Although it's not foolproof, it's something. One of the areas where mail-in ballots can be easily frauded is ballot harvesting. Now, for those of you who don't know, ballot harvesting is the practice where ballots are collected by third parties that deliver them to the polling station. Problem is that it is impossible to prevent a third party from tampering with those ballots between the time that they've collected them and they drop them off at the polling station. And I have seen stories where both sides, Democrats and Republicans, have committed various degrees of fraud through ballot harvesting. So one area that will be a huge problem for mail-in ballots is that of the US Postal Service. Here's a quote from Candace Owens. "The US Postal Service is, and I quote, a disaster." And I've actually looked into that quite a bit, and she's right. To put it simply, it's known for being seriously unreliable, especially with mail-in ballots and absentee ballots. There have been several experiments in different constituencies where in each 100 ballots were sent through the mail, right, all looking and weighing the same as a mail-in ballot. At first check, none of them were recovered. After several days of searching, the post office found 97% of the ballots. That means 3% of the voters in that experiment were disenfranchised. If that happens in the actual presidential election, those votes wouldn't be counted. And that could seriously affect the results in key battleground states. And the USPS, the US Postal Service, has admitted that this is likely to happen, losing mail-in votes in 47 states. So in pretty much every single state except 3, they will lose ballots. And many voters will be disenfranchised because of it. Now, I'll give you some quick examples of mail-in ballots leading to voter fraud. Mail-in ballots are commonly used by military personnel because they can't vote from their home, so they're pretty much sent absentee ballots. A couple of them, I think it was 9 of them, were found in a trash can a couple of weeks ago. All of them were ballots where these military personnel voted for Donald Trump. No, there wasn't that many, I will say. But it definitely shows that there's a serious potential for fraud and manipulation with the system. A Texas mayoral candidate recently was arrested on 109 counts of mail-in voter fraud. And in California, 100,000 mail-in ballots were thrown out. 100,000. That's a lot. That's a lot to lose. Why do the Democrats support such a system if it's so easy to fraud? Well, a lot of people on the right believe, a lot of Republicans do believe, and I think even Trump believes it as well, that the Democrats want to bring in mail-in ballots because it's so easy to cheat. Because they want to cheat in the election in order to get Joe Biden elected. Now, I do understand why people would think that. It's not out of the realm of possibility. And usually, because Democrats and the left have actually accused Republicans of wanting to do it, as wanting to cheat in elections, and usually when the left accuses the right of something, it means they're guilty of it themselves. Look at Hillary Clinton with the Russian collusion hoax. She constantly accused Trump of colluding with Russia, and we now know it was actually her. Now, there is another reason, and I think this is actually much more likely when it comes to why the Democrats will want such a system. And that is they want to get the youth vote. Because they believe that youth voters will fill them out and mail them a lot easier, a lot more than they will getting up and going to a polling station to vote. Young voters are a very, very vocal support for the Democrats. However, they do have a tendency not to vote in the election itself. And you look at various numbers throughout the years, it's not a new phenomenon. And it's even here in Ireland. When it comes to elections, young people don't vote. In Ireland, they'll vote, young people from college vote for referendums, but they won't vote in elections. And you can kind of see it because the voter turnout here in Ireland isn't that great. I don't think that will work either. because young leftists are just as hypocritical as the old ones are. So, to conclude, I believe that mass mail-in ballots are such a bad idea because they are so open to fraud. I mean, I think the Democrats are hoping to increase the youth vote by using the mail-in ballot system. However, I don't think it'll work. I think that the Democrats may be trying to cheat, although I do think it'll be hard for them to do so at the scale needed to have an effect, given the fact that the US isn't a pure democracy. It's a constitutional republic, which means that it's not a direct democratic vote that decides the president. It's a system like the Electoral College. The Electoral College system is a much better system than a straight through vote because there's so many different voters. If it was a straight up democracy where it's just a number of votes, I think there's 6 states: California, New York, Florida, Illinois, and oh god, I can't actually think of the 5th. But yeah, if you have all those, you'll win. But there's a lot of country kind of in between those states, and the Electoral College encourages candidates to campaign for their vote too. So what are your thoughts on this? Share them with me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear them. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe to keep up with my latest videos. Mail-in ballot system is such a bad system, and it's hard to really fathom why the left and the Democrats want to introduce it. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.